It's Teneca and welcome back to my channel. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to show me some love and also share your suggestion. Relax. Okay, so here I am. I'm just getting off of work. I'm actually not just getting off of work. I've definitely been talking to my mom and my sisters, because she didn't answer. So just one of my sisters and my mom on a call tonight. Tonight was quite a night. Today was quite the day, but the evening with all the ice and all that stuff, I didn't go to my day job because it was way too slick, tires bald. So I stayed here. Me and the twins talked. I had a really good conversation with my babies. And then, I live so close to my evening job, I just took an Uber because I didn't want to drive on the slick streets. It's very slickery. And it's Teneca. Welcome back to my conscious rant. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to ask you to please show your girl some love. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button, the share button. If you enjoy my content, help me to share it. And tell me if you want to hear about specific topics. So I talk about a variety of things. Like tonight, I'm at the host stand talking to a young lady who, all of them are young. I'm older than all of them, so all of them are young. Maybe I should stop saying young lady, because I think that some people get offended by that. Like when you say young lady, people get offended by the oddest things, you know what I mean? It's like if someone older than me addresses me as young lady, you're older than me. So contextually, why would I be offended? Or the people younger than me? It doesn't matter that I understand it or not. I don't understand it. But I respect I respect their request. If they ask me to not address them in a certain way, all the bearded men smelling, beautiful beards too, do not address me as sir. Do not respond to me like that, with that. I just respect it. I don't quite understand it fully. I don't have to respect it. So, when was the last time you slow danced with someone? Like, is that a scar? I kept rubbing at my nose. I rubbed a scar up in that thing. Okay. Yeah. Where was I? I'm facing this heater because it's cold in my apartment. I signed another lease and I'm going to be staying here for another year. That only takes a little bit off the rent. I have a little corporate discount for the company I work for. That gives me a decent discount. Just enough that I'm okay with staying here. So, so back to the slow dancing. So when I worked at this hospital back like in 2009, 2010, I worked in the emergency room, and there were some nurses who, they taught me how to two-step because I didn't know how, for the country two-step. That's been so long ago. I'm sure I could dust that off. You know what I mean? I could learn it or relearn it, however you say it. I'm sure it's like a bicycle because I don't really do it. But tonight, a young lady who was almost 30 years old told me she's never slow danced with anybody. So that's why I'm like, when was the last time you slow danced? So I was like, you've never stood and shared a space with someone and you're very close, like If you cough, I could feel your abdominal muscles in your tummy. I could feel that. Where we both got to check our breath and make sure we're good, you know? She hadn't. And so I was like, I mean, like this. And then I showed her. And I could just see the lights coming on in there. And I'm like, why haven't you? How are you almost 30 years old and you've never, I will say in a relationship, I've only slow danced with one person. There's only one person that I stood and shared a space with where he held my waist and I put my hand in his hand, you know, and he led. And long after the music was done, we were still in motion, and I will never forget that. And I just wanted that for that young lady, and I thought about it. I'm gonna bother my children tomorrow. I'm gonna harass my children because I do. I'm not even gonna lie. I bring all kind of shit to them. I am basically the child in the dynamic between me and my kids a lot, because the way that they're living their lives is I didn't do a lot of the shit that they do and that they're into and have experienced. I have not been there. And so I just ask. I ask them about their experiences and they share. I'm not necessarily living vicariously through my children. It's not like that. But I learn a lot of my lessons. There's so many things that I never truly have to experience I don't have to indulge to say that I've shared the experience with someone else. And I don't think they have. Excuse me. But I'm going to ask them in the morning. Because in the morning I'm off from my day job. I'll only be going to the evening. Y'all, I have 3 jobs now. Until I have to stop, I'm not going to stop. Anyway, so the magic in that moment, it made me want to reach out to everyone who has never experienced it and share that with them and give that to them. But the more I thought about it, like it's something so special. It's something that really does need to happen organically. Like a part of me actually felt bad that I gave that to her, even though it kind of made the lights come on. I told her, I was like, hey, this right here is some powerful shit. When you share a space like this with someone, you take your time there. It's an excellent, shiny little ace to have in your back pocket. That little slow dance could save your relationship. It could start a relationship. So I started asking her, like, and all the time that she's dated, like, where has she? And she just stopped me right there. She's like, I've not actually dated. I've not actually had a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And I don't know what I like. I know for sure it's not men. Like, I'm attracted to people's energy. And I'm like, I can understand that because I'm attracted to it. There are a bunch of different things. I fall in love so easy, y'all. Be falling in love with people that are at their places that are frequent. Okay, back on topic. Back on topic. I know what that's like. She's just graduated college, and so she is very just focused on working her job and going home. And there are some aspects of this life, as beautiful and fun as it can be, it just throws some of us into a state of shock where we're all kind of altered. Like it's an altered mental status type of situation. And until you recalibrate and you acclimate into this part of your human experience, you know what I mean? Like I want that for the young lady. She's such a beautiful girl. And she was trying to tell me all those different terms. She is a something. I was like, is that the same as being cis? Cis? I'm going to figure out what that word is. But she was sharing with me that she is, and confused now. Now it's several hours later now. It's 11:22. I will just have to check her out and check out. Because I did text myself a couple of the words, but I'm not gonna. But I guess, it kind of makes sense. It's like one of my daughters kind of led her life is the same way, where she, right out of high school, put herself through college. My oldest daughter's doing the same thing. They're just very focused, and online they appear to be more social than they are. Well, my oldest is she is the social butterfly, and the middle one, my middle daughter, she has thrown some of the biggest parties I've ever seen in my life. You are event planning, wedding planning. You got some, where you get that from. I think our father did. He used to throw some pretty cool parties, have some pretty cool get-togethers, nice selection of music, and the hors d'oeuvres that we used to make. I remember the first time we entertained company, 18, 19 years old in a whole nother country. It's not just the experience with him, but it was at the time. But I'm just saying, as I'm reflecting back on it, just as a young person, to be social on that level, on that scale, with people, having people over and cooking and entertaining and literally hosting an event. Let me see, the last time I did that, I used to do a lot of little sip and greet and sips with me and some of the females that I know, my female friends, and that's been a very long time. But anyway, I was just encouraging the young lady, like, she's not on any dating apps, and she's not actually had she hasn't even had a boyfriend. I was like, what is it that you don't like about guys? And she was like, I don't know. I was like, other than the D, which if you haven't had it, like, you'd be hard pressed to actually describe what it is that you don't like about it. But I wasn't trying to necessarily back her in a corner, but it's like, you are so young, even though people are like, well, she's not, 30 years old. I had already been married and divorced with 3 kids by then. But that's still young to someone who has not actually stepped out in it. You know what I mean? She's not like, you haven't even come into yourself. You haven't had enough experiences to know what you do and don't like. How can you say you don't like chocolate ice cream if you've never even had it? You never had vanilla bean? Let me show you something. It's so good. It's so good. And you just don't know. But she's already talking about having her heart broken by crush. And I've not experienced that. I've shot my shot and said, hey, I like you. What's up? I could tell you like me. What's up? I've gotten shot down many a times. It's not to the point where I can say that my heart is broken, but I can only imagine. And so if you feel that way anyway, my whole thing is just listening to these young people. And I told her, my daughter's the same way, where, again, because of things that she posts online, people assume that she's doing things that she's not, because she's been out to a nightclub 10 times in her whole life. She might be at about 10, maybe 15 times. It doesn't make you a night girl, a lady of the night, or a club head or a clubber. It doesn't make you that. And that also doesn't mean that you've actually been social and interacted with people on a level. Like, I want you to know what that feels like to be picking up books or tarot cards or puzzles or magazines in Barnes and Noble. Let me tell you what I do. I walk around with Barnes and Noble. I go and get one of those. It's a Rice Krispie treat, and they heat it up. If you ask them to heat up my Rice Krispie treat a little bit, that with some type of latte or frozen drink, frappe, not latte, but frappe. And I walk around.
I could not stop
kind
once
of
I started.
as I'm
Don't
looking.
judge me.
And
Don't judge me.
I'm gonna leave
I'm
with
talking
at
about Barnes
least
and
2
Noble.
books in a deck.
Yeah, that's my thing. Okay.
Because I write so much, then I'm gonna leave with something to write on, even though I have a bunch of things to write on. Like, tell me why your girl almost failed today too, because of the ice. Child, I was a screaming bandit. This is just 3 of them. Well, 4 of them. 4 of them. And it's like when I feel like writing a conscious rant, I do be all over the place sometimes. You can just keep up with me. And so, like I enjoy it, and I pack these around everywhere I go. At least one of them. However I'm feeling, like I need to get more of this color because I really, really love crimson. Anything wine or red. I love it, love it, love it. It's not my favorite color necessarily. But anyway, so when I feel like writing and I don't have one of those, there are little inserts that I put in there that are basically napkins from different places that I've been. Post-its. If all that I have to write on is a receipt, then I'll stick it in there. Makes it bulky looking. Well, it can't bulky. Either it's bulky or it's, it's bulky. Okay. Okay, I'm done. Anyway, I write about things like that. Where was I? Yes, about Barnes and Noble. It's not, and it doesn't have to be Barnes and Noble. Well, if you go to the stores or lounges or cafes, coffee shops, there's nothing like noticing that you've been noticed. Noticing that you've been noticed. Someone saw you and was so taken by you that they kept looking, and then they considered it, build up the nerve to maybe just to be seen by you, allow themselves to be seen by you, and maybe build up the courage to approach you, approach the bench. Whatever line they thought about coming up with, whether it's, how about those Sooners? How about those Pokes? How about the weather? How about that elephant? I think one of the smoothest lines I've heard. How about that elephant in the room? What elephant? Clearly everyone's trying not to look at you. Clearly everyone knows I'm looking at you. I'm just like, I've heard some very flattering things. This young lady knew nothing about that. When I talk to my children, I encourage them to just put themselves out there. They're not going out necessarily prowling, trying to get the attention of all. You already get it because you're all very attractive. You're all very attractive. And my children are especially eccentric. They are a little bit of extra everything. I don't know why. Their father's a little bit extra. He's fancy like that. I don't think I'm fancy necessarily, because there's a lot that I could do that I don't do. But I know that it doesn't take a lot to just to be and show up. That's always been enough for me. So the extra that a lot of people do, some of the costumes and things I've seen. But anyway, I wanted them to have that experience and to know it, and to be able to relate to capturing someone's attention like that. Because the fact that someone decided to walk up to you after they pondered it for a moment, you know what I mean? That in and of itself is an investment. Typically, they don't just mess that off. My daughters are like, yeah, Mom, you need to catch up, because there's guys that do a lot more and invest their money and their time for a lot longer than, a casual meeting, impromptu meeting at Starbucks. And then they shit on that investment like it's nothing. Apparently, people will take you to meet their parents and shit. You're meeting the family and you're just, I'm learning what a jump off is. I'm like, first of all, I never want to be that to anybody. I think that's slap-worthy. If I know that that's what you're trying to do to me, but that's how you get played, though. You don't realize that that's what they're doing. But it's like the bad boys and girls know how to fake pretend just right, where you think that you're having one of those serendipitous, moments once in a lifetime. It's like, well, how did we get there as a people, as a species? Where it's embarrassing. You're more focused on not being embarrassed and not being rejected, to the point where you never even shoot your shot. Bold. I'd be like, what's all the way up? Not every time. Not every time. Like, I don't even go to those places enough anymore to say all the time. But if I know that I haven't been in a long time and I want to go, and on the one or two times, this is my first time in so many years, and I see someone or something that I like, someone that I like, that I'm attracted to, no, I wouldn't pass up. I would definitely say, I feel like we kind of made a connection here. Oh my God, speaking of which, this guy gave me his number, and I legit left it where I met him. It was not in my purse. I kind of feel like after so many days have passed, it's kind of like he's inevitably going to feel like I dissed him. And I didn't. I just didn't have his number. I shouldn't have been writing stuff down. That happens. It happens. We're like that. Okay. So again, this is a conscious rant. Keep up with me. And so I'm learning that I have apparently a lot of missed opportunities. Now, I didn't see them as opportunities until long after they were gone and passed and dissolved. They're gone now. I'm gonna have to undress for this. Take off this coat and I will come back. We'll talk about the land of opportunity. I'm gonna name the next one. The land of opportunities. I have some stories for you with the intimate part of myself, and as well as the career opportunities, friendship circles, just a bunch of different opportunities that a lot goes over my head. It's like, maybe I need to get tested to make sure that I am not autistic. Because when I'm thinking one thing, I can be so laser focused on this thing that I miss so much. I do. I mean, as sharp as I am, I don't I like to talk that shit. I don't miss much. You can't get much past me. I mean, that's true. And then it's so not true. Obviously, gotten several times. I get got all the time. So not all the time. I've got more times than I care to admit, that I will humbly admit. If it's a part of my story that can help someone else to not repeat the same, you won't share my fate in this situation. You want to know what could happen potentially if you pull a homeless person in off the street just because you thought it was too cold and you didn't think past that moment? When you told someone, oh, you can come in here. Anytime you come in here, I'll give you a drink. Anytime you come in here to my restaurant or to the club that I work at or the lounge that I work at. Knowing that they don't have the money to pay, well, you're trying to do a favor just that one time, and then they end up coming back and coming back and coming back. Then what are you going to do? That's why you have to put on your business mind when you're at work with me. I'm obedient. So when I feel like doing something, if I can ease your suffering inside and I can give you some ice water, I don't care that someone said that I'm not supposed to or that I can't. Well, I can't give it to you, then I'll just pay for it. I'm still giving it to you. I'm going to give it to you. Yeah, it makes sense. Maybe that's how come people kind of see me as a rebel, even though I don't feel like that. If you're just defending yourself, if I'm just defending myself and just protecting what I am and who I am and trying to grow that, I don't think that makes me a rebel. I'm not looking for rules to break or whatever. But when you go against some grain, you know, and you go and you do that if you have an audience, like I guess we all do. And it's effortlessly. What was I saying again? Oh.